It is a great day to be alive, and I am so thankful for God, Jesus Christ, who lives in us. In today's video titled October 17th Response and What's Next. In this video, I will be giving a response to the October 17th date, as in the title, as well as sharing a new dream. And in the end, I want to talk about, for the first time on this timeline, God has shown war and a specification of the coming market crash all in one day. At the end of this video, I will also be sharing an email that someone sent me, something that they pointed out that I think is very important as it relates to what's next. And then I'm going to be showing how XRP ties in to October 17th. Before I get started, this is not financial advice. Nothing that I'm sharing is financial advice. I am simply sharing dreams, visions, and interpretations that I feel God has given me as it relates to crypto. Now, let's get into the video. Sometimes in order to see where you're going, you have to zoom out to see where you've been. This portion of the video is for those who may not have been able to watch every single video that I've put out since June or the beginning of my YouTube time, as well as those who may not have ever had a chance to watch the video, but they have heard specific things or certain things. And so what I want to do is take this time to go over where it all began. And I will include a picture of the video thumbnail, so if you do want to go back and hear this all in detail, you can. But for this video, I am not going to go all into details. I just want to simply talk about the specifics and highlight a few things. So all this began with two market crash dreams that I had in 2023. And so as you see here, this is the very first market crash dream. This is where the original numbers and the colors that I have been using, and God has been instructing me on how to use these numbers and colors in order to put together what I later understood, which was about April 2024. I later understood that He was going to use this to help create a timeline, what I call the market crash timeline. And so this is where the main details for everything came from, this very first dream. So this is market crash dream number one. Market crash dream number two is what I really want to focus on, because that is where the October 17th date when I originally saw it. Again, it's in the same video. Here's the thumbnail. But in this dream, I saw a still photo of a market crash, what I understood to be a market crash. When I looked down, I was sitting in a ball pit full of balls that were yellow and red. And on every ball, hundreds of balls, the date of October 17th is what I saw. So this is where the October 17th date originated. Again, it wasn't until 2024 that I began to realize that, my goodness, God was giving me these colors and numbers in order to build this timeline. And so back in 2023, when I received the dream about the market crash and I saw the date of October 17th, it was just understood during that time for me, that God was showing me that October 17th, 2023, a market crash will occur on that date. And as I shared before, October 17th rolled around and there was a war event that had to do with Israel. As confused as I was, I continued to seek God on the matter. And again, the following year, about around April, the first week of April 2024, is when God began to download all this stuff to me. Is when all of this about the timeline began to develop. And I began to try God. I said, okay, God, if what you're showing me, I'm seeing when something ends, I have a dream. When something ends, something happens. And so what I began to do is, again, try God. I put my faith in the fact that this is what God was showing me. And I said, okay, if this is you telling me this, God, then I know on April the 10th, you're going to give me, April the 11th, you're going to give me a dream. Because April the 11th would have been the ending point for a particular number of days moving forward from that October 17th date. So April 10th, I'm going to bed. I'm reminding God of where my faith is in all of this. And I go to sleep and I have a dream about a tether swing. This is where the tether dream comes in. I've shared this. If you want to see this, to know more about this dream, you would have to go to, again, that same thumbnail about the market crash. And I will say, as time has gone on, a lot has developed with Tether. We know that there's going to be something happening with Coinbase, delisting Tether, and just so much has been going on centered around what I feel God has shown me about Tether. Tether will become unstable. And so this Tether dream originally came on the 10th instead of the 11th. I actually woke up about a few minutes before April the 11th. And so I went to sleep again after having this dream. And God gave me a confirming dream. In that dream, I was telling someone about the Tether dream. And so God was showing me that, yes, what you're seeing is the timeline. And from that Tether dream, I received a date based on a person's birthday. This was the very first time that a birthday had been pointed out to me to look into. And when I did that, April the 18th was the next date. And I tried God again. Okay, God, if this is what you're showing me, then on April 18th, something should happen on the April the 18th. And so all of this was happening prior to me even doing videos on YouTube. Again, I wanted to see where God was taking this. And so October 18th rolled around and another war event dealing with Israel happened. And so now I have an understanding that, God, you're showing me lots of things about the Israel war. You're showing me some things about crypto. And I know you've shown me twice market crash. So as time moved on, I realized that these dreams were about war, crypto, and all roads leading to a market crash, but war, for whatever reason, was the focal point. By July, I had already started putting out videos on YouTube, and so between the time of June and July 2nd, as you can see here, July 2nd, by this time, I was able to share what to expect next. So July 2nd was not on the timeline prior to me starting videos. And so this was an opportunity to share with you guys all that God had been sharing with me. And that's what I love about this, is that we're experiencing this together. You get to see me be transparent and go about trusting God with what he's put in my hands to say that, yes, God is sharing with the body of Christ. He's sharing with this YouTube community, this wealth transfer community, what is about to happen. And so again, this timeline is mainly about war, crypto, the stock market, and the coming market crash. But it's going to be a focal point on the Israel war. As it relates to the second market crash dream with the yellow and red balls, I am reminded of many dreams that God has given me throughout this entire time. He's giving me, on the same day that I had to tell the dream, a dream about a red and yellow key. Followed by that, some time later, he gave me a dream about the Chiquita banana and me seeing banana slices in the color red organized in such a way that it looked, as you see here on the screen, a circle. And I thought about the Shiba Inu coin. Moving on from there, he showed me something again on July the 11th. I had a dream, and in this dream, I was asking the person, why am I seeing October 17th date on all these balls? And so I'm asking about a dream within a dream, but the person never gave me a response. Number 5 is a dream that I have not shared because I had this dream on October the 15th, and I'm going to get in that a little bit later on. So that brings us to the dream that I had on July the 9th. July the 8th was an ending date, and so I knew that on July 9th, I was supposed to have a dream, and I did. And in that dream, I was told that the market crash would happen in the 3rd and 4th quarter. After having this dream and praying about it, telling God that, wow, that's kind of broad, 3rd and 4th quarter. You've been specific on dates, and it's landed on days with war events and all this, and now everything seems to be very broad, 3rd and 4th quarter. Well, as time went on, I received 2 dates that I really believe that God gave me as far as when the market would crash. The market crash would happen in the 3rd and 4th quarter. And as you can see here, August the 6th of this year and October 17th of this year is what I felt God was leading me to. But how did I derive these dates? I was given a dream about Baltimore, Ohio, and here's the video, the 2 videos that I shared all of this in. And as you can see, one of them is even titled October 17th, round 2. That is referring to this year versus last year, which was round 1. And so in the dream about Baltimore, Ohio, I shared another thing about a birthday that gave me the date of August the 6th. And it's the same thing with the October 17th date. I had a dream about a Rubik's Cube. But looking at August 6th, the date that I received from the Baltimore, Ohio dream, later on, what happened, I'm going to say August the 5th / August the 6th because it just depends on where you are in the world. We heard about the Japan market crash that did affect our markets. And so that market crash date landed on the date that God had given me from the Baltimore, Ohio dream. And from that, my faith was built more on the fact that, yes, this next date of October 17th, the date that I received from the Rubik's Cube dream, is going to also be something to do with the market crash. And this would be the fourth quarter date. So August the 6th was the third quarter date, October 17th, the fourth quarter date. And so I broke down in those videos about the Rubik's Cube and how God showed me a connection between a date or a number of days, which helped to derive the October 17th date. Now, with the Baltimore, Ohio dream, I was basically given a date based on a birthday. However, in the Rubik's Cube dream, I had to actually do a little bit more work. And so from there, I was able to count 100 days forward, and 100 days forward surprisingly landed me on October 17th. It reminded me once again of that second market crash dream with all of the balls in the ball pit and seeing the date of October 17th. And so that is the history behind how these two third and fourth quarter dates were derived, and how that I know God told me that the market crash will happen in the third and fourth quarter. And so one quarter is accounted for. However, what about the fourth quarter? And that brings us to October 17th. Now, I shared earlier that God has given me a lot of dreams dealing with the colors of red and yellow. And so a dream that I have not shared that I had on October 15th, I'm going to share that now before we get to October 17th. And I'm going to call this an interrupted dream, 2 days before October 17th. This has happened before. This happened to me also on June the 30th as I was waiting for the July 2nd date. And so I'm calling both of these an interrupted dream. Why do I call it an interrupted dream? Because based on what I've seen in June and in the past on June 30th, this is God's way of saying, hey, come this way. Hey, look at this. This is his way of giving my attention that is something, another detail of something about the timeline that I need to take a look at. And so I look at this like a GPS system, or like a guiding light, or like tracks with a shifting tracks. God is interrupting the path that I feel that I should be taking as far as these dates and what I understand. And he's causing there to be a shift. What do I mean by that? On June 30th, as I was waiting for July 2nd, God told me that something about war was going to happen on July 2nd. I had a dream, an interrupted dream, about pom-poms. And in this dream, I saw 3 colors. And these 3 colors I was mixing up in the bowl. And for whatever reason, I saw the color white. When I woke up from this dream, I was confused as to what white meant. During this time, the only thing I had were the colors red, green, yellow, and blue. I did not recognize white in any way. And God was showing me, you need to recognize the color white. And by doing so, I was later able to understand that I even had the blue as weeks instead of days. And God was showing me, you need to make a change here. And that small detail would be the correction that was needed for that time. Was I doing the timeline wrong? Was I wrong about the message about war, crypto, and the market crash? No, but there needed to be some adjustments made in order to keep it on God's track, keep it the way God needed it to be. And so now I have these final colors with these final days to weeks, and what I feel is correct now. So God gave me an interrupted dream as I was waiting. 2 days before July the 2nd, he gave me an interrupted dream. The same thing happened on October the 15th. And I'm simply calling this dream the Bruno dream. And in this dream, I was conversating with a friend of mine's mom. I knew her from high school. And so she was talking to me about different things, about the housing market and about the kids and just different things. And then she mentioned a person's name that I knew from high school. And so she mentioned his full name in the dream, but she wrote down only his first name. And she turned her back to me. And when she turned her back and when she moved over, I was able to see 2 circles or 2 pie charts. And each of the pie charts looked like what you see in the picture. Red, yellow, red, yellow. And she wrote his name on top of one of these pies, or I'm going to call it pie chart. And as she wrote his name, each letter floated off the board, and I saw it float into the air and disappear. And so when I woke up from this dream, I knew, okay, this is an interruption dream, or this is a dream that's verifying something. Which is it? Setting all that aside, I began to go to Facebook and I began to search for Bruno. And surprisingly, I found him and I found out that his birthday is on August the 19th. Why is August the 19th significant? It's significant because it is the same day that the blue moon event occurred this year. The same day. We connect the blue moon, or I've connected the blue moon based on, you see these thumbnails. These are the videos that I shared that in. And I connected XRP to the blue moon. Also in these videos, I shared some things that for me was confirming as it relates to the blue moon and XRP and what I feel is about to happen with XRP. So my question was, why was she writing his name on top of a date associated with October 17th as it relates to colors when his birthday has to do with the blue moon and XRP? I was confused as to why. Well, on October 17th, I found out. Some confusing things came out about XRP, the SEC, and the forms, about the appeal and everything, and all these questions. Everybody was just up in arms about the whole entire thing. The SEC has failed to do this and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, God, you've given me someone whose birthday is on the same day as the blue moon. Blue moon is going to be equated to XRP. You've given me confirming things that has pulled XRP to the forefront versus Lunic, because Lunic is also connected to the blue moon. But XRP is in the forefront. And so now you've set this dream up in a way that I now understand. However, it is known now that the SEC has got their business straight. But at the same time, this is not a coincidence. Something is coming down very fast through the pipeline for XRP. Please be in place. Moving forward, I'm going back to these two red and yellow pie charts and I'm saying, okay, but why two charts? Is this dream emphasizing that these two colors does confirm this October 17th date? After all, these were the two colors of the balls in the ball pit from the second market crash dream. Or is this dream a reminder of the other yellow and red dreams that I've had as confirmation for this October 17th date? I've had a lot of dreams having to do with the colors of red and yellow. Then I asked the question, okay, well, does this dream mean that out of all the things that I feel that yellow and red represent, does this mean that two out of all of them will occur? And so as I'm looking at this, news about MasterCard came out about the 15th, I think, of October. And so that was the same date that I had this dream on. And so, okay, news about Stellar and MasterCard, but I don't know. But that's just a thought. Then I thought about China, because I feel that these colors also represent something to do with China. Well, we know that there was an issue with Taiwan and China running military drills around the island, and that happened on the 14th. But then there's that final thought to just wait, because this is very well God's way of shifting, redirecting. He's going to give you something else to see as it relates to what you think you know. And I'm okay with that. If God is the one that's doing the correcting, what can I say? And so from this is just how I left it. I could have come and did a video saying, oh, I had a dream and I think it's kind of like what happened to me the first time. It's an interrupted dream. God is moving some things around. No, I felt the need to wait. God wanted me to wait to share this. Wait. And that's what I did. And so finally, we are to what matters the most, October 17th. And on October 17th, number one, there was no market crash. And now that I see this in real time, I go back and I said, okay, God, that was an interrupted dream. Bruno was an interrupted dream. There's something else here that you want me to understand. Not that my interpretation of what this timeline means is incorrect. I think it's all correct. And as we continue to go in this video, move on forward in this video, more things are going to just be revealed. And so I'm looking here and then I'm thinking back also to the video that I shared about me wearing a bulletproof vest. I didn't understand what it meant. Is something going to happen at the airport? Why am I wearing a bulletproof vest? And now I understand. God was showing me protection. God was trying to show me that I would come under fire, but he had given me protection. And so had I known it during that time, that should have been like ringing bells, like, okay, maybe October 17th is not the date. But I didn't take it that way. I looked at it as if there was going to be an event, something's going to take place, something has to do with people needing to wear a bulletproof vest. And then in that dream, I saw the date of October 16th. So if the market crash wasn't the main topic of discussion on October 17th, what was? What was? The mastermind behind what happened on October 7th, 2023 was confirmed dead. This was major news for Israel, for the world. This was major news. And this occurred on the date that I felt God had given as related to the market crash. But again, those tracks, God redirecting, all of that began to hit me like a ton of bricks, but in a good way. Once again, God is showing that this timeline is about war, Israel war, crypto, the stock market, as well as the coming market crash. And again, all of this is evident throughout this entire timeline. God has been revealing war, and war leading to the market crash. Again, prior to understanding anything about a timeline, God gave me this date of October 17th. And afterwards, from the Rubik's Cube dream, God gave me specific numbers that led me again to October 17th. And even if we go and take a look at the new colors dream with the eggs that God gave me, using the same outline, seen and unseen, seen but unseen, using the same numbers and colors in the same way, I have been working on a continuation of this timeline, and what I'm seeing from there is also war events taking place. Here you see on the 27th, that was a date that fell on the timeline, as well as now October 17th with what happened with the leader of Hamas. So what is Netanyahu saying? He's saying that we will not stop the war. We are going into Rafah. And what that reminded me of was the Palestine dream, because Rafah, when you talk about Rafah, you're talking about the state of Palestine. And I shared that in this dream, the same voice that told me no in the third and fourth quarter about the market crash, I heard that same voice in this dream, and this person said no, the best way to explain this Palestine chart was a war. And I shared that I felt that there was more, it's possibly more that needed to be put on this chart, something that was missing. And now I feel that God is showing me that this October 17th date is extremely significant, because we're talking about the person who orchestrated this entire day of devastation has been confirmed dead on October 17th. And so moving forward, I can foresee what I feel God has shown me about this whole thing about Palestine and war is becoming more clear. Now, I shared in the beginning of the video that for the first time, as it relates to this a timeline date, God has shown war and specification of the coming market crash. And I want to say thank you to the person who emailed me this information. They're the ones behind the research, and they brought this to my attention on October the 17th. I believe that God does things in a timely manner, just as he's done before. I also want to thank everyone for sharing encouraging words during this time. Believe that God is moving the chains. All of this is a part of what we're praying about, what we're believing God for, and that's the coming market crash that's going to bring about this coming wealth transfer. And so thank you to this individual again for sharing this information with me. So this person that sent me this email, he observed the birthday of this individual that was killed on or confirmed dead on October the 17th. His birth month to be exact. Now, if you have been following my videos for any amount of time, you know that birthdays are significant. But this time, the birthday stands out in a much different way. Why do I say that? Because going back to the video about the October 17th round 2, I shared in that video For the first time, God bringing to my attention October the 29th, 1929. Why is this date significant? Because it is the day of the stock market crash. I also shared in another video just recently about the Eiffel Tower, and I shared how the Eiffel Tower was the tallest building in the world until a specific date in 1929. That date specifically was October 23rd. So within the same year, God has given me a dream that has led me to do research and to find out that a few days before this major market crash that happened in 1929, this famous market crash, something to do with each of these things occurred. So what was my observations? Both dates are a few days away from the October 29, 1929 market crash. And if Hezbollah's leader was born in 1929, his birthday would have been on the day of the market crash. Again, this is God putting together war and specification of the coming market crash. He is showing us that although the market crash did not happen, the market crash is still in my mind. The market crash is still a part of this timeline. He did not leave us empty-handed when it came down to our expectations for the market crash to an extent. Okay. My second observation is the dates of these random dreams and this research that has brought me to see the date of October 23rd, October 24th, and now October 29th. I am praying about these dates. I don't know if there's anything significant about them as far as the market crash taking place, but I am taking note of all of this. Let us all continue to pray about this coming market crash. It is evident that God is showing us something here. God is giving dates to correlate with major things that's taking place with Israel right now. And to me, it's a privilege. It's a privilege for God to share with us things that are going on with this small group of people that is the apple of God's eye, a group of people that has the natural promise and covenant with God. And he's relaying this message to us, his spiritual Israel, about what he has decided to give us, starting with this market crash, moving forward to the wealth transfer. But we have to keep our faith in what God has said. We have to keep our faith in God's promises, even when he shows us dividing tracks, or when he shows us that we're off track on the GPS, or when he shines light on the left side instead of the right side, and we thought we were going right, and God is saying, go this way. That's a privilege and an honor to know that God loves us enough to make tweaks here and there, even when we are confident and we have our conviction in what we feel God is saying, because God really understands our heart. He really understands that this is where my faith is. This is where my faith lies. And so we have to stay encouraged, stay focused, as I always encourage you guys to take these things before the Lord. Doesn't matter if the market did crash on October 17th, we still have to take what we hear and what we feel may be correct or what may be incorrect. We should still take it to God and allow God to confirm these things. For me, everything that happened on October 17th, this, God kicked it up a notch, because I was not expecting this. I don't think that the world was expecting this. And for God to be gracious enough to give us that date of October 17th in such a way that we were expecting one thing, but something else began to happen. And then in the end, he's specifying that I got your market crash. Just hang on a little while longer. I got your market crash. And so be encouraged. I hope and pray that something was said in this video to encourage your heart. I know that there are moments of disappointment when it comes down to these things. I've had my moment, but we share in our moments of disappointment. We should take it before the Lord. We sit for a while, but we can't stay there. So be encouraged. This is all that I have for this video. Until the next one, God bless.